Welcome back to the channel. So we keep saying we're gonna do something different. I don't know that this one's quite different, but we're gonna do something fun today. So it's been almost 3 years. As a matter of fact, it's actually been 3 years to the day that we ordered the Jeeps.
Yes.
We ordered them. We ordered them on the same day. The funny thing is our VIN numbers are 5 numbers apart.
Oh, I thought they were 6.
They're 5. They're 5 numbers apart.
Sorry, Lewis, I lied.
So we are going to do a 3-year review. We have owned them, driven them, off-roaded them, and they've pretty much been doing the same thing for the last 3 years.
And modified.
And modified. So each Jeep is different in its own respect, which we'll talk about, but they're, again, put through pretty much the same paces, everything else. So, to start, mine is they're both 21s. They're both 21s. They're both geckos. Yep. But mine is the 3.0 EcoDiesel with an automatic.
Mine is the Pentastar 3.6 with a 6-speed manual.
So, and with that, we've both kind of gone down the same route where we both have a 3.5-inch lift and we both have 37-inch tires.
Yep.
Right there's about where the similarities end. There's a few things, but whatever. We'll get into more specifics of those.
Yes.
So, let's get started on this review.
Sure, a review.
I like it, a review. Let's go look at one of the trucks. All right, well, let's start with this one.
Loki. He's a little dirty. All right, guys, so the first thing I want to start with is the Gladiator itself. Nothing I've done to it, just the Gladiator. And in my configuration, which again is the 3.6 Pentastar and the 6-speed manual, for the most part, it's been great. I was very disappointed to find out that nowadays the manual transmission isn't more powerful for towing than an automatic, but I don't tow, so it's not really an issue for me.
So just so people are aware, do you know what the numbers are for the standard?
So I know the automatic's like 7,000 pounds. I think with the manual, it's 4,500 or 5,500 pounds. It's significantly less, unless you go and buy an aftermarket clutch, and then you can bring it back up to 7,000, but with the factory one, yeah. So if you plan on towing with one, get an automatic. The Gladiator itself, I love it. I get the best of everything. I get to take my top off, I get to take my doors off, and if I want to, I can haul stuff for doing projects around the house and whatnot. I don't ride dirt bikes anymore, I'm too old. Don't ride 4-wheelers, again, too old. Bones don't heal quick. So for me, it is great. I've got the off-road ability of a Wrangler. I'm just longer. And in the aftermarket world, we can always do like the moto-built stubby bed, if that's a big deal. We've been all over in our area, been in some tight spots, and it's not really been an issue. Backing up has, for some of us. But all in all, I love my truck. I wouldn't change too much about it. The thing I would like to see, and they kind of touched on it in the new Gladiators, is a bigger screen. I really wish we could get that RAM screen that actually works, not some of these aftermarket ones that you lose your factory speaker, which is always better than the little stupid mics you get with an aftermarket radio. I'd like to see that, but beggars can't be choosers. The one issue I've had, and we've made a video on it, is, like most people, my auxiliary battery. I don't know what happened to it. It just died. It drove home. I went out to start it the next day. It was dead. As you guys seen, I did the quick and easy delete for it. That being said, and in full transparency, I finally got a call back from my local Jeep dealer, not the Jeep dealer that I bought it from, Lewis. I don't want to throw too much shade on them because they did do their job. But they replaced the battery. I drove it for 2 more weeks. The battery died again. So, if you've watched our video on how to delete, I actually went in through the inner fender well and completely removed the battery, brought the positive from the auxiliary battery up and attached it to the main battery on the positive side. Sorry, had a brain fart there. Now, in the videos I seen of doing that, everybody says they lost their auto start stop, which a lot of people hate it. I don't mind it, but I still retain mine. Is that a fluke? I don't know, but in my case, it works. So, all in all, I'm super pleased with it. The only other thing that I don't care for, and it's a Jeep thing, is the lack of cup holders. I went from a Tacoma that I daily drove, I didn't off-road it, but that thing had 13 places I could put a water bottle. Going and picking up dinner for the family, I never had to have anyone go with me because I had enough cup holders. This thing has 4. I added 2, so now I have 6 because I didn't get leather to get the drop-down armrest that had 2 more in it. Thanks, Jeep. But yeah, other than that stuff, I love it.
So, all right. Well, tell us about your modifications that you've done to it since you've owned it.
Okay, so my modifications. Let me preface this. You can't see most of them. And that was because of the auxiliary battery issue. I stripped everything off of the truck that I had that you guys have seen in videos and whatnot because I thought maybe that was killing the battery. It was not the issue. That being said, so I've done high fenders with the little LEDs in them for my turn signals. I did, these are eBay front inner fender liners that have the Gladiator helmet, and I color matched. I'm on my second set of rock sliders because it got wrecked and they don't make the ones I had, but they're Smitty built Apollos, and I color matched the chrome or metal. And then on the back, I did the DV8 inner fender wells. I've also color matched my Black Rhino rash rings and then promptly scratched them. Yeah, but this one back here is the worst one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, first trail. I also did a Metal Cloak 3.5-inch Game Changer lift. I ended up I went with their house brand shock. They didn't last. So I went with the, I believe they're the B8 5100 series Bilstein. Again, they're not on here, but I had lights all over. I had the Vo switch, or I have it, that goes actually in the center that they don't make anymore. It's an 8-switch panel. Super easy, great, I love it. I have a ARB twin air compressor that I run out of the bed, and I can't remember the company that makes the box for it to protect it, and a 3-gallon air tank, so I can run air tools if I need to. Mostly I use it for airing up, airing down. Oh, what else have I done? Inside, we did the soundbar DS18 6-inch speakers and tweeters. We also did the 6-inch DS18s in the knee speakers, as I call them. If you guys watch the channel, those videos are up. We'll just tell Matt, he'll link it down in the stuff down there. The other things I've done, I've got a rough country 12,000 pound winch that I've used to tighten it. Oh no, that's not true. I've used it a few times. Never for recovery, always for cutting down trees. Other than that, I've not needed it, and I'm super thankful for that. Underneath, if I can get down here, I have the Rough Country dual steering stabilizer, and I love that. I did the Rusty's off-road drag link and tie rod. Now, okay, with the Rusty's, I have one complaint. And I've called them and they told me it's normal, but it causes a clunk, so I don't like it. My drag link has a bunch of play in it, and they said it's perfectly normal. It's supposed to do that. I don't care for it because running my dual steering stabilizer, it will catch. If it has been pushed down when I turn, it will catch on the mounting piece. Is it a big deal? No. It's worked great for, we'll just say 2 years. I think I've had that on there. I also did the Synergy sector shaft reinforcement for the crappy aluminum steering box. I also put on the eBay version of the ARB high-low snorkel, or at least that's what I call it because I can't remember the name. But I can take this plate off, block this off, and run it up the windshield if I want, or I can run it like I always do, just like this. And it's great unless you need in your fuse box. Then it's a pain because you got to take half of it apart. You got a tube here that you got to take apart. It's 4 hose clamps, but it's just painful. Okay, and my final modification was the Rough Country tubular bumper. And for the most part, it's been great. I do think eventually I'm going to change it out to something different. I just have to find a front bumper I like to match it.
That's not the last thing. The very, very first thing that you did.
Oh, my Claymore.
No.
Oh.
No. Well, I mean, you got that too, but you can talk about the Claymore, but you're...
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yes. Who was that?
No clue.
We ordered from Hawk. I don't even know if they're doing it anymore. So, yes, like 3 or 4 days after we custom ordered our trucks, I ordered this from Hawk Off-Road. And when it come in, the Jeep on the back may have lasted 2 days. Now it's on my toolbox. But yes, I had a Claymore back here that I've ripped off twice now. And I think it's at the house, but I'm gonna have to, I always forget to take it out when we go off-roading. And inevitably I drop off of something and rip it off.
Yep, this last time Bear had to go swimming in a mud hole to go find it.
It wasn't a mud hole, it was a creek.
It was a creek that was muddy.
Okay, we'll go with that. But that is my review, modifications, and things I like and didn't like about it. All right, guys, so I've talked about how much I like it, issues I've had, modifications I've made. Now, if I had it all to do over again, there are things I would change, but not a lot. My biggest one, especially now that my son has left for the military and I don't have help, I have a very small garage at home that I cannot build a hoist for, so the hard top. I would go to a soft top. I know for a lot of people that's not a popular opinion, but I don't have help to pull my top off, and I enjoy going without my top indoors. I had to put it back on before he left, or else I wasn't getting it back on until Matt could find time to come over. But I would have went with a soft top, hindsight being what it is. The other thing, the proximity entry. I don't lock my doors unless I'm going someplace I'm not familiar, but I hate taking my key out of my pocket. I'm lazy. I would have got an automatic. In all transparency, I did not get an automatic 100% out of spite, because for the 850 RE transmission that is in the truck, they wanted to charge $2,500 in 2021. In 2024, it is currently $2,500. It was the same in the Wrangler. Now in the Wrangler, it's $4,500. I did find out a little bit, but the same exact transmission in the Ram 1500 and in some of the other cars in 2021 was a $50 upgrade. But because it said Jeep and they know we're suckers evidently, they were like, oh no, we're gonna charge you $2,500. And I said, not me. So it would have made my life easier off-road as far as not having to feather the clutch and stuff to get onto stuff. But you put this thing in first gear and in low lock, and I can climb anything all the way up till about 3 miles an hour. Most of the time when you see us wheeling, if I'm in low lock, which isn't often, but if I am, I'm in second or third gear, taking off. Other than that, leather. And for a couple reasons. My seat is getting a crease in it and failing. And I work a lot out here and get dirty and have an hour drive home. And my seats are dingy and I don't have a way to clean them at home. I'm not buying a shampooer to do my seats. It's not cost effective. For what I'm gonna spend on a good shampooer, I'll buy seat covers. I just haven't found a set I like yet. But I would have went with leather, which also would have given me 2 extra cup holders because, you know, you can only have the fold down armrest if you have leather. Explain that to me. But I did put these in and they're handy dandy. But that is all about my truck, Loki.
So the all important question, 3.5-inch lift, 37-inch tires, 3.6, and a manual transmission. What's your gas mileage?
So average between 15 and 17. It really depends on, like coming out here, I get 16 to 17. If I drive an hour in the other direction, which is a lot more hills, I'm 15 to 16. So, and that's at 75, this truck with the 6-speed, 75 miles an hour is the sweet spot. You run 60, you'll get like 13. You run 55, you get 19. I don't know. 75 is its sweet spot, so I set cruise at 75 and that's how I roll. On occasion, you know, I'll have to get around somebody, and since they put that new clutch in yesterday, it will now do that. And I'm not scared I'm gonna catch on fire going down the highway.
There is that.
So yeah, if you got recalls, get them fixed. But that's my truck. That's the things I've done to it. And I love him. And the name is perfect. I forgot an upgrade. It was not a planned upgrade.
Okay.
So in December of 2023, my truck got hit. And it ripped the lower control arm off of my front axle. The front axle was basically on national back order. 3 months later, I talked to the insurance guy and I got hooked up. I asked them about going aftermarket. It was like $1,000 difference by the time the re-gearing and all that got done. And we knew we could get it in, well, it was supposed to have been 10 days. It ended up being 3 weeks because they had to custom build it. However, I now have let me make sure I can say this right, a Dynatrack Pro Rock Ultimate Dana 44 in the front. For those who don't know what that is, crawl out and under your rock. But it is the best Dana 44 you can get The next step up would be a 1-ton Dana 60 axle. So the back is still the standard Dana 44 until I can get someone to rear end it. So if anyone's looking to help a brother out, don't tell me you're going to do it, just do it, and hopefully you have shelter insurance around me. But no, yes, I love my truck. Loki is a perfect name for him because every time I think something, you know, like, oh, I got hit, this is really bad. No, it's not. You get this $7,000 upgraded axle. You know, every time I've had anything happen, it's always been like, oh God, this is going to be catastrophic and super expensive, but it's always turned out to be, no, I'm just playing. I just wanted to make you sweat. Reset your codes, everything will be fine. Or, you know, whatever. It's a $100, $200 fix. Yep.
All right, guys, here we are with Rocky. Rocky, good old Rocky. So I'll start with the name. Rocky was actually picked out by Bear. And Rocky, for those that don't know or have ever heard of the Paw Patrol, Rocky is the dog or the pup that drives the green truck. Guess what? The green truck. It is Rocky. So, just the same as Patrick's. Bought them 3 years ago. Today is when we ordered them. It's a 21 Gladiator in the gecko green. It's got the 3.0 Eco Diesel, 6-cylinder Eco Diesel with the automatic transmission. I was not going with a standard transmission. I didn't care how much I had to pay for it. I absolutely love my truck. You can't convince me that there is a better mid-sized truck out there. I know there's plenty of them out there. Before I knew they came out with the Gladiator, I had looked at different ones. I'd looked at the Tacomas, I'd looked at the Rangers, I'd looked at the Colorados, and they were all cool. I mean, the Colorado had the diesel as well, but I just could not get behind any of them. And then they finally debuted the Gladiator. It's like, yeah, that's it. So anywho, and then we were talking about getting them and all that, and the gecko wasn't available. I was like, yeah, the gecko's a really cool color, but they're not coming out with it. And then 1 year they're like, hey, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it for a whole 3 months is all you can order the gecko. Guess what? Day one. So.
First 45 minutes.
Quite literally, first 45 minutes of opening day, I was on the phone with Tandy at Lewis. So, but, like I said, absolutely love the truck. Wouldn't buy another truck. With Patrick, what he said, you know, you have the bed to be able to haul stuff, and that's great. I have a big truck. I have a Ram 1-ton. I can do truck stuff with that truck. That said, I still like doing truck stuff with my small truck. So it works out great. So I don't know that I would do anything different on the truck. I ordered it the way I wanted it. I knew this is the way I wanted it. And at the time, money was no option. I could get whatever I wanted on it and it wouldn't matter. Because I had enough money to put down that even we financed a very small amount, and it was even paid off in less than a year. So there was nothing different I would do. Absolutely love the diesel option versus the gas option. It's just so much more torque and so much better gas mileage. So, and I know we did it at the end of that one, but even running a 3.5-inch lift with 37-inch tires on this brick, I still can get 20 to 21 miles to the gallon depending on how I drive it. On an average, I'm still getting 18 to 19, and that's running it really fast or going and doing trails or anything like that. I don't know that I've really gotten a gas mileage less than 18 miles to the gallon. And that's without being re-geared either. I'm still on the stock 373s. So that's where it's at. As for upgrades, I've done not a whole lot. So I actually did the 3.5-inch lift, very similar to Patrick, but mine is the Clayton. Clayton's got they had the triple rake springs, which is the reason why I went with them, but they even came out even further. They have a diesel version. So the diesels are roughly 800 to 1,000 pounds heavier. So the diesel springs in the front help bring the front up. So I got the diesel upgrades. They have now a rear option for heavy duty springs. I just haven't got them yet, but it is something that I'm looking to in the future. The Black Rhino rims with the 37-inch tires, which this is the third set of tires that's been on it, so I can't say, you know, this particular tire is the one that I've had. I did do the Smitty built XRC side steps and rock rails, and these are the ones that Patrick had till he was forced to go with the Apollos. I got these in a killer deal. So they're the Fishbone off-road tube doors. I got all 4 doors plus a stand to put them on Facebook Marketplace for $200. So Patrick, I don't like the fronts because they sit way too far out and I sit inward. Patrick loves the fronts, so I gave him the fronts. The only thing I wanted was the rears because I used to run just the rear doors. And it, you know, it was great and all. I like having my doors off, but I've got to be able to keep Bear in the Jeep along with the dogs. So having just the rear doors were great. All right. So the next thing I did is we built, since Patrick is so good with woodcraft, we built a rear deck. So we did the 2/3 seat delete and put in the rear deck. And let me tell you, the dogs absolutely love it. So the next is I did the trail rack, gull wing bed rack. There we go. Yeah. So I honestly, I really like this thing. I've really liked it. Never had a problem with it. I haven't put a whole lot on it yet, which is the only other problem. I did have my tent on it for months, and it just ended up being more weight than what I was using, so I took it off. But anywho, the other thing I got, and I actually got this in with the financing, is the deck system. This, I love the deck system, but this is probably my only disappointment, only because they've come out with the new deck. So this one, it has the 2 drawers. It's got the small drawer and the big drawer. I've got them completely full and they stay full. And it's got the little support deal in the middle, and then it's got the ammo cans on either side. Now in this particular ammo can, I actually have the ARB twin air compressor. It's all built in, got all my switches in here. But back to the deck system, the new one is 1 drawer. So it actually goes all the way from here, all the way to over here, and they've eliminated the ammo cans, which is good and bad. It gives you more room. The drawer pulls all the way out. It goes further out than what these do. So you have less wasted space up front. You have less wasted space on the side, but the sides are open, which is very interesting. So you can still shove things in there. I think there's enough room in there that I could have fit the ARB air compressor. I just have to pull it apart, mount it on there, and life would be good. And then even on the front, it's got another little small compartment. So just like we pulled the top off this one, it's got another one of those up front, but it's just got like a small little bucket in it. So I love the deck system. I'm just mad they didn't have that one at first. So, and then just like Patrick, the Jeep might have lasted 3 days. Might have lasted. I might have actually done it the same day that I bought it, brought it home. Oh no, you're right, I didn't.
Yeah, because you guys drove to Florida.
I had to drive to Florida. I bought the truck and drove it 800 miles. Literally picked up the truck and drove it 800 miles to Florida where we were currently working. So, and then it was while I was there because I had the rack delivered, the deck was from the dealership, and Patrick bought this.
You had your tent delivered too.
Yeah, had the tent delivered, and I had, within the first week, I had all of that on. All right. So I did forget something, and Patrick forgot the exact same one, but we're going back to it. So with the Clayton lift, I got the Fox shocks that went with it. The 2.0s. Yeah, the Fox Shock 2.0s. That's what it was. So they lasted a grand total of 3,000 miles before I blew out the first one. It was one of the rear ones. I don't know what the hell I did, and it blew out, so I had to get new shocks. So I got the Bilstein 5160s, which is the remote reservoir 5100 series. Do they make much of a difference? I don't know. I've ridden in Patrick's, I've ridden in mine. It says it keeps the shocks cooler. It's not necessarily, you know, more fluid, more flex or anything like that. It's to help keep them cool so the ride is better and longer, especially your like your desert runners who are constantly moving, your rock crawlers that are constantly flexing both ways.
It helps with shock fade.
Apparently it helps with shock fade. As for the ride right out the door, I wouldn't say it's much different from Patrick's 5100s versus the 5160s. So, in the long run, it sounds like they'll probably be better.
I disagree. When he first put them on, they were awesome in comparison to mine. Because he lives on a gravel road, and we went over a bunch of bumps, and I could definitely tell the difference.
Okay, sounds like there is a difference. So, outside of that, now that covers all modifications. So, issues with Jeep. I say with Jeep. So, I've actually had several recalls. So, the first one is diesel specific. The diesel high pressure pump that they came with was an aluminum geared pressure pump. Well, apparently, once they have so many miles on them, or they get hot enough or worn down enough, they will quite literally explode. So all the internals will just fold up, mesh up, and shoot all that metal into the engine itself. And if that happens, Jeep has to replace the engine. That is a $12,000 fix that Jeep will pay for if that high pressure pump fails. Nonetheless, they did do a recall. It took them 1.5 years for them to actually get the recall parts, and then they replaced it. I took it in there. 4 hours later, they called me and were like, "Hey, we're done. It's all changed out." Wonderful. The other recall that I've had an issue with, and it's not diesel specific, is the rear axle has these sensors for the locker. Well, mine went out. Patrick's has not, which is odd. Just like my auxiliary battery has not gone out, but Patrick's has. Twice. But the sensors went out, and you can't buy the sensors. Like, I can't just go to Mopar and buy those sensors. They've been on back order quite literally since they've started making the axles. So to get them fixed has to be done by Jeep or by a Jeep dealership. Now, there is a fix, and it's the Z Automotive Z Locker. So it's literally, you unplug your locker, you plug this in between it, and you plug it back in. It takes longer for us old people to get on the ground to the plug and back up than it does to actually change it.
The link for the video being down below.
Yeah, we can link the video in the description as well. So that's the only issues I've ever had from it. The diesel engine, I absolutely love it. Never had any problems with it. Oil changes are a little bit more expensive, but I don't have to do them near as much. We were actually figuring up cost the other day, and the funny thing is, so Casey has a 392, and she drives the absolute piss out of it. Now, granted, those are high-performance engines. They need special oil, but her oil changes cost $77 every between 3,500 and 5,000 miles, whenever it actually tells her to do it, because, you know, it's got the percentage calculator on there. I go roughly 10,000 miles for me to be all the way down to, say, 20-25%, but my oil and my extra filters, because I have to have a fuel filter as well, I have to change the fuel filter, costs just over $155. So in all technicality, it really breaks down to being about the same cost. It's just all at one time instead of over 2, maybe 3 oil changes. But other than that, absolutely love the Jeep. I wouldn't recommend any other mid-size truck if you're wanting to use it for off-road. Everybody has their own opinion though.
Yeah.
So outside of that, that's both of our trucks. Let's move on. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
He fell back.
Oh, fell back, huh?
Yeah.
Just like you?
Let me help you. Head down. There you go. Now your ears don't look all flopped over.
Satellite dish.
Yeah. Look like you're trying to fly.
All right, guys. There is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And the upgrades.
And the upgrades for our 3-year review on the Jeep Gladiator. 3 years is a long time.
I'd say it's been a...
3 years is a long time. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But all the stuff that we did, we talked about.
Oh man.
There was so much we talked about that we even forgot some of it.
Yeah. I changed out my antenna. And you forgot
the rain gear.
Oh yeah, you got
I got a rain gear for my
Jeep.
for my hardtop. So I can pull the doors off, and even if I'm going to work, because I work 24, so 24, 48, 72, or 96, like I just finished a 96, but I can just throw the rain cover on there and not have to worry about having my doors off. So, but I've liked it so far.
Yeah, the only thing I'm even remotely disappointed about now isn't even a thing quite yet. The 2025s are coming out with that Hurricane or whatever engine.
Oh yeah.
And it's got more power. So, I mean, we all like more power. So, I mean, America's Most Wanted does a elephant, so I mean,
yeah.
Until you got that, you're always going to want more.
Yeah, for $100,000.
Yeah.
At least.
So,
but
all in all, I'm tickled pink. I'm still excited every time I walk outside and I see it, mostly because of the color.
Yep.
Like where we in the radius in which we are, Matt's, we'll call it 60 miles from my house. So 60 miles in any direction. There's R2 and one other gecko Gladiator. Mm-hmm. And I've been to Kentucky and stuff, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri. You've been to Texas. Mm-hmm. I think you've seen one down there. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen any out.
So
unless there's a big jamboree or something, people coming in.
Numbers that we've come across. These are actually reported by Mopar. We've had some people in some of the groups we're in contact Mopar just for getting numbers and whatnot. But what we have come down to is there is 1,100 Gecko Gladiators in various configurations that were sold in the United States, or built for the United States. Let me rephrase that. Built for the United States. Only 1,100 of them. And again, we've seen less than 10 outside of ours.
Yeah.
I did see a Gecko Wrangler. There's actually one in Muskogee.
I've seen a couple Gecko Wranglers that are the 21 version, not the 13, 14.
Yes.
But even I just watched the Branson Jeep Invasion video, and I think there was 2 in it.
Yeah. So the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, I keep seeing that one come across one of the groups that I'm in, and the last year they had one, which would have been the 23 Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, there was 15 of them there.
Really?
Yeah.
So there was 15?
There was 15 at the 2023 Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. So it seems like a lot of these Gecko ones may be more towards the East Coast than they are.
They might be
South Central.
I mean, they're 1,100 of them
somewhere
across the U.S. That's not many per state. In some states, may have more than others.
Yeah, there's 2 in Alaska. I know that too.
Oh,
because one of them is named the Alaska Moose.
Okay.
So I do know another special one. So we've all got the special numbers. There was 372 Rubicons in the Geckos. That's our specific number because that's what we have. But even better, there is only 49 Geckos that have the diesel engine. So mine's a 1 of 49.
Dang.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of them only have a 6-speed.
I don't know. I didn't look that one up. Maybe you need to email Mopar.
Yeah, maybe. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for us. We've jaw jacked entirely too much probably. But
enjoyed doing this one though. This one was
yeah.
a fun one to talk about him because, you know, again, 3 years is a long time. We've done a lot, so.
Yeah.
But
we went from very mild to evidently kind of wild on some things to hear other people talk about it.
yeah.
But we appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you guys in the next one. See ya.
Bye, guys.